Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the channel. Today's story is one that took America by surprise, a rare, beautiful, and heartfelt exchange that reminded everyone watching that respect and admiration can exist even in the halls of political debate. It happened when Congresswoman Nancy Mace took a moment to publicly praise Congresswoman Jasmine Crockett for her leadership, courage, and determination. Their interaction wasn't about politics, rivalry, or party lines. It was about recognizing strength, character, and the shared values that make great leaders stand out. What unfolded next touched the hearts of millions and reminded the nation what unity in leadership really looks like. It was during a congressional hearing that had the potential to get heated. Tensions were high, discussions were pointed, and every word carried political weight. Yet, amid the usual atmosphere of sharp questioning and firm disagreements, Nancy Mace did something no one expected. When she was given the floor, instead of launching into debate, she turned toward Jasmine Crockett and delivered words that caught everyone off guard. Words of genuine praise. "Before I begin," Mace said with a calm tone, "I just want to acknowledge the remarkable leadership that Congresswoman Jasmine Crockett has shown in recent weeks." The room fell silent. Crockett, who had been jotting down notes, looked up with surprise. Mace continued. "We might not agree on every issue, but leadership isn't about agreement. It's about authenticity, strength, and standing up for what you believe in. And I see that in her." Her voice carried warmth and sincerity, and you could see faces around the room soften as the weight of her words settled. For a brief moment, the room wasn't divided by party or ideology. It was united by respect. Jasmine Crockett smiled, visibly touched. She placed her pen down and nodded in appreciation. "Thank you, Congresswoman Mace," she said. "That means more than you know. Leadership is never easy, but it's always meaningful when it's recognized, especially by someone who knows the challenges firsthand." The tone between them wasn't just polite. It was genuine. It was one woman in leadership recognizing another, not as an opponent, but as an equal. As the moment continued, Mace elaborated on what prompted her words. She spoke about watching Crockett handle difficult questions, remain calm under pressure, and defend her positions with intelligence and composure. "In times when our debates can turn bitter," Mace said, "it's refreshing to see someone lead with integrity instead of anger. That's not something we see enough of in politics today." Her comments quickly began making waves online. Reporters in the room began typing furiously, and cameras zoomed in on the two women exchanging nods of respect. What could have been another ordinary hearing suddenly became a symbol of hope. Hope that decency still had a place in public service. Social media exploded within hours, with hashtags like Crockett and Mace and Women in Leadership trending across platforms. People from all over the country commented on the moment. "This is what America needs," one user wrote. "Two strong women showing that admiration doesn't have to depend on party." Another commented, "They both just proved that grace and leadership go hand in hand." The clip was shared thousands of times, and news outlets across the political spectrum covered it as a sign of civility returning to Congress, even if just for a moment. What made the moment so powerful wasn't just the praise itself, but the fact that it was unexpected. Nancy Mace, a Republican known for her independent thinking and straightforward approach, took time to recognize Jasmine Crockett, a passionate Democrat known for her fearless advocacy and bold voice. It wasn't a strategic move. It was an authentic show of respect that broke through the noise of political division. As the hearing continued, the energy in the room shifted. The usual tension dissolved into quiet attentiveness. When it was Jasmine Crockett's turn to speak, she took a moment to respond not with political rebuttal, but with gratitude. "I've said before that leadership isn't about being the loudest voice in the room," she said softly. "It's about being the one willing to listen, to stand firm in what's right, and to respect others doing the same. Congresswoman Mace, I appreciate your words and your example. Her response drew quiet applause from some members of the committee, a rare sight in such a setting. For a few moments, everyone present seemed to share the same realization, that this was bigger than politics. It was a human moment, a reminder that empathy and acknowledgement can sometimes accomplish more than argument ever will. After the hearing, both women were approached by reporters asking about their exchange. Mace smiled and said, "Leadership deserves recognition. I don't care what party someone's in. If they're doing the work and standing strong for what they believe in, that deserves respect." Crockett, in her own interview, said, "We can disagree all day long, but at the end of the day, we all want to make this country better." What she said meant a lot because it came from a place of sincerity. The public's reaction was overwhelmingly positive. Editorials praised the exchange as an example of bipartisanship done right, not in policy, but in tone. It showed that even in disagreement, there's room for admiration. It also sent a message to women in leadership everywhere, that lifting each other up, even across divides, is one of the most powerful things you can do. Clips of the exchange played across news networks. Some commentators called it a rare glimpse of humanity in politics. Others said it was a masterclass in mutual respect. What stood out most was the way both women carried themselves, confident, composed, and compassionate. The symbolism of the moment was undeniable. Two women from different backgrounds, different regions, and different political philosophies stood on opposite sides of an issue but side by side in spirit. They showed that leadership isn't confined by party lines, it's defined by character. Later that evening, Nancy Mace posted a short message on her social media account. "Real leadership recognizes leadership. Congresswoman Crockett shows courage and conviction, and that's something to be respected." Within minutes, her post received thousands of likes and shares. Jasmine Crockett responded with a simple but powerful comment. "Respect is mutual. Thank you, Nancy." That small online exchange spoke volumes, sending ripples of inspiration far beyond Capitol Hill. Many Americans said it was the first time in a long while that they'd seen something truly hopeful coming from Congress. Teachers shared the clip in classrooms, using it as an example of professional respect. Parents showed it to their kids as a lesson in how to treat others with grace, even when they disagree. The moment transcended politics and became a symbol of what mature, thoughtful leadership should look like. As more details of the interaction spread, it became clear that both women had gained new admirers from across the political spectrum. Supporters of Mace praised her courage for acknowledging someone on the opposite side. Supporters of Crockett admired her humility and grace in accepting the compliment. For once, there was no outrage, only appreciation. Even late-night hosts, usually quick to poke fun at politicians, took a softer approach. One host said, "For the first time in a while, Congress gave us something worth clapping for. Two women proving that politics doesn't have to be mean." The audience applauded, a sign that this simple act of kindness had struck a national chord. Behind the scenes, sources close to both Congresswomen said they spoke briefly afterward and exchanged words of encouragement. They discussed the challenges women face in leadership, especially in such polarized times. Both agreed that the only way forward is through mutual respect and collaboration, even when perspectives differ. That conversation reportedly inspired a new informal coalition of bipartisan female leaders who began meeting to discuss ways to promote civil discourse in Congress. What started as one moment of recognition became the spark for something bigger, a quiet movement toward restoring empathy in politics. As time passed, the memory of that exchange continued to resonate. It became one of those rare clips that people revisit, not to relive drama, but to feel hope. It reminded the country that beneath all the debates and disagreements, there's still room for humanity. Nancy Mace's praise of Jasmine Crockett wasn't just a kind gesture. It was an act of leadership in itself. It showed that acknowledging others doesn't diminish your own strength, it elevates it. And Jasmine Crockett's graceful response demonstrated that humility is the hallmark of true confidence. Together, they painted a picture of leadership rooted in integrity, not ego. In the end, their exchange did more than win hearts. It set an example. It showed that even in today's divided political climate, moments of unity are possible when people choose respect over rivalry. It reminded everyone watching that leadership isn't about tearing others down, but about recognizing greatness when you see it, no matter where it comes from. That's why people across America shared it, talked about it, and held on to it, because for a few minutes they saw something real, something hopeful. Two leaders, two voices, one message, that kindness still matters. And maybe, just maybe, that's the kind of spirit America needs most right now.